Welcome to part 3 of my Into the Wild Zimbabwe series on Kazuma Pan National Park. My name is Gus, the African Plant Hunter. This is the episode in which I cover some of the things that you can do while you're here in Kazuma Pan. Now, the first thing you must do every single day you're here, when the sun starts to set, stop, take a moment and just look around you and enjoy the peace and serenity of this extraordinary place, preferably armed with an ice cold beer. Kazuma Pan is dominated by this huge central depression, which is very wet and waterlogged during the rainy season, but when it dries out, latter half of the dry season, there's not a lot for the wildlife other than the permanent Katushetti River in the east. So in the southwest of the park, there are a number of artificial waterholes fed from solar pumps that have been sunk by the Bajani Trust, a local organization that's been supporting Kazuma Pan for several years. The easternmost of those is Wild Pan, here in the Mapani woodland, just set back from the edge of the depression. Plenty of wildlife here, very good place to come and sit up for the evening sundowners time to watch the wildlife. I'm sure there's processions of it looking from the spur around. Lots of elephant. We saw giraffe coming in just now, and this looks to me like an excellent wildlife area. One rather unexpected sight in the east of the park as you're driving alongside a track coming in a southerly direction on your right hand side is an old farmhouse. And this farmhouse, which obviously predates the establishment of the park in 1975, is said to have belonged to the father of Alan Savory, world famous proponent of the holistic resource management philosophy, who himself lives on a farm just probably 40 or 50 kilometers away from here to this day. And looking around the farmhouse, we found this old dumpy bottle where Alan Savory's father presumably drank a nice cold beer out of it once upon a time. Now, of course, the house is just a shell, testament to human endeavor prior to the establishment of this absolutely pristine wildlife area. Walking on your own in Kazuma Pan is prohibited, but a very well worthwhile activity while you're here, just to get you to some of the more inaccessible parts of the park, is to ask the National Park staff to provide you with an armed ranger so you can go on a little guided walk. Be careful, there are a lot of dangerous wild animals here, particularly buffalo, some very large herds. Easy to walk into them in the bush, but if you got a ranger and you're in an open area, you should be fine. And it is well worth your while for some huge open panoramic vistas of Kazuma Pan in all its glory. Approaching Kazuma Pan from Panamatenga border post, almost certainly your very first stop is going to be right here. This is Corner Pan in the far southwest of the park. Permanent water supplied by solar panels, and this in the late season is going to be where you will find big concentrations of wildlife. One sight well worth seeing is this perennial spring at the very top of the Katushetti River. Pretty remarkable sight to see water flowing right on the edge of the Kalahari Desert, and it flows all year long. Further downstream there are crocodiles and hippos. This is not just a little tiny puddle, this is a proper river. Another activity that rather surprisingly is on offer in Kazuma Pan is fishing, which you can do in the Katushetti River on the southeastern boundary of the park, just close to Katushetti Camp. There are a couple of deep pools with some bream and some barbel, and just beware that there are also hippos sharing these pools. But lots of fun for something different to do, fishing right on the edge of the Kalahari Desert. Hey, I got one, and it's an absolute tiddler. You feed a mouse family for a day. So that brings to an end part 3 of my Into the Wild Zimbabwe series on Kazuma Pan. I hope you've enjoyed it. Right now it's time for me to do that thing which I would recommend above any other thing in Kazuma Pan, which is just as the sun is getting low to grab yourself an ice cold drink and go and sit down by one of the many permanent waterholes and watch the wildlife coming in. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you have, there's plenty more on my YouTube channel and Facebook and Instagram. Just type in Into the Wild Zimbabwe, you'll find me there. Otherwise, I am known as Gus, the African Plant Hunter, and there's plenty on YouTube under African Plant Hunter. Thanks for watching. I will catch you later. Don't forget to look out for the fourth and final episode about getting there and getting around in the park. Critical, because Kazuma Pan is not the easiest place to get to. Take care. Bye.